Alright, reviewies, it's time to review and hero up!
Yeah, that is awesome, Fred. With that infinity sword, I will rule the universe.
I would already think so.
Yeah, the Superhero Squad show, one of the best Marvel shows out there. Like, I know people saw this on Cartoon Network, but I first saw this on Hub Network.
I forgot a little bit that it was on there, but yeah, it was Cartoon Network for me as well.
Damn. Oh. And I gotta tell you, this show meant a lot to me as a child.
How so?
Like, you know, as a kid, I would always watch this along with Transformers Animated and, like, any other kind of show that came on Hub Network. It was, like, one of the best. Even though it's, like, you know, for kids, of course, there's a lot of comedy in it, but that's what it made it, like, the best for the show.
Yeah. It's just so unique and stuff, the slapsticks and stuff, but I think they were going with that as mainly just for the kids, but I like how they did it.
Yeah.
What interests me, of course, yes, around the time where I was just really thrilled to see what Marvel could do, especially when I had, like, just posters and this coloring book and a coloring activity book. It's just seeing Marvel characters together, because this is something even wholly before the MCU could ever experience, like, bring us their greatness, because, like, this was something wholly for me as well.
Yeah. And just as a kid watching it from home, I would usually watch this in my living room. I actually watch all the episodes.
Wow, you're pretty lucky.
Oh yeah, because Superhero Squad meant a lot, as I said. Yeah, especially the cool theme song from season 1 and season 2.
Exactly. The theme song.
And don't forget the Superhero Squad theme song. It's just one of the best ones. And what's unique about it, like, it's one of those things that can change depending on the episode or just on random.
Just call it a couch. Yeah, call it a couch gag. Okay. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah. Right, gotcha. But despite the theme songs, I do like both of them, but I have to prefer, like, the second one. The second one what had to been a blast.
Well, yeah, I mean, true, but I still prefer the first one because it's still nostalgic.
Superhero Squad, hero up. Yeah, can't get enough of that.
And they even did the same thing because they have a thing in each episode called Hero Ups, where it showcases two or more characters, like showcasing their power ups and stuff. So that's pretty cool.
I do like that. Yeah. And if you see in the intro, like in the first theme song, you can always see, like, Hulk holding, like, one of the Infinity, like, you know, fragments, and then he turns into something.
Yeah, that's what I mean about what's unique about it, because they have, like, different entities to that. Hulk, and that's what refers to as a couch gag. Like, one of them has them turn into a baby.
A baby, Grey Hulk, even to a Transformer one time.
What?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
but while he's doing that, speaking of the hero ups, yeah, even though we mentioned it, I do like when, you know, the squad heroes up. I just like their translations and everything. It's pretty cool to me. Oh no, go ahead.
What is it like? Can you let it out?
Especially the last episode when they did their last hero up with all, like, the superheroes in the past.
Oh, great! Now that's even much more. Even though if I wish I just could have just seen more, but I was glad to just binge watch the ones that I remember. But yeah, I do find it really fascinating. But the one thing that just is really off-putting is the designs. Like, I'm not hating, but they look like freaking toys.
Oh, come on, man. Well, yeah, but you gotta admit, they had, like, really good designs, like, along the way. I especially like how they parodied this version of, you know, Superhero Squad to, like, Mad, remember?
Well, yes. Like, if they stuck with the designs that they did for Mad, how they look like in Mad, that would look even much more just offish. But this is fine, nevertheless.
Yeah, and you know what's so funny? And, you know, despite not this having Spider-Man characters, yeah, fun fact, in this show, they were not allowed to use any Spider-Man characters because, again, they had the rights to Sony at the time.
which kind of sucks if you ask me. I mean, they would have gone the way to add Spider-Man characters, but the only time they did was in the Superhero Squad online video game.
And the other games too, not just that.
Yeah,
Well,
but what's
true,
so funny?
but
Oh no, I was about to say, what's so funny is in Ultimate Spider-Man, he actually went to that dimension for 1 second. Remember?
I was just about to say that. I was about to mention that part.
Look at Spider-Man. But that would have been really cool if, that's why they had to vary a lot with, Captain America's, villains, heroes, especially with the X-Men being here and there.
Yeah. Melon showed up a couple times, and there's one episode where Wolverine actually had to go back to school.
Yeah, because he screwed up, and then, But it was cool to see the X-Men once again.
Yeah.
The show. And bring up about the episodes. Yeah, remember the episode with the little girl?
Yeah.
Who could ever forget that pretty girl with the crystal hand that gives her immense strength? I mean, by Jesus.
And just to find her dad to be a firefighter and everything. But when she was yelling the most time, in the background you can hear her Melter saying, "I always had a crush on you, Captain Marvel."
Ms. Marvel, actually. At the time,
same thing.
Well,
My fault.
She just went through a different phase. That's all.
Well, yeah, and then she punched him.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
And then speaking of what do you call it, Miss Marvel, there's even this one episode where she fell in love with MODOK.
How did that happen?
So the character Enchantress.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but only. Well, I do know that there's two different ones. One in Marvel, one in DC. But one in Marvel, I don't know that well.
Well, she's more. She's more of a character in Thor, of course, and she was trying to make this love spell to go on Thor, but it actually hit Miss Marvel, and and then the first person she looked at was MODOK.
Right, one of those type of deals.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been worse. At least it wasn't Abomination or Doctor Doom.
But yeah, at the end
or worse, Mole Man.
Yep. Well, at the end of this episode, the spell wear it off, and, she was kicking MODOK's ass, because he was asking for some smooches.
Oh, I like your smooches. Oh, okay, smooches, all right.
Well, yeah, exactly.
But god dang, that wow. And there's also this one that I think has to do with Doctor Strange, I don't remember, but Iron Man actually turned into an actual iron.
Yes, I did see that. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And speaking of Doctor Doom, there was this episode where he actually broke his mother out of jail. Have you seen that one?
No, but the fact that his mother looks exactly like him, albeit with blue clothing and lipstick.
And everybody had to refer her as Coco.
Oh boy.
What the?
Coco Doom.
Coco Von Doom, as you could say.
Okay.
Yeah, that was something else. And other good episodes I like is the first appearance of Reptile.
Yeah, I really like that dude. It's basically Marvel version of Beast Boy.
In a way, but only turning to dinosaurs. With Beast Boy, turning to dinosaurs and Barry. Yeah, I can see where you're going there.
Actually, actually not really turning to dinosaurs, turning any part of his body into that of a dinosaur, and a dinosaur's part.
Right. And that's just why Beast Boy is much more better because he transforms into full animals. But I do still like the concept for Reptile, though.
Yeah, thanks for giving away some of the character analysis.
Well, anyway, there's also one, the first appearance of Egghead.
Yes, Egghead. Oh, yes. One of the few ones I liked with him is that he was brainwashing everybody to make him president.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
one of his first appearance, where Wolverine was annoyed because of that frequency that was bothering with him because he can only hear it. And, as a kid, I liked the sound it was making and stuff, but, that was the first my first introduction to Egghead, and I was starting to find out that he also appeared in Woken Edges match.
Yeah, also, can you join back? Your mic is muffling.
Be right back. Okay. Well, that's all I have to say.
Wow.
Yeah. Other episodes I liked was the first appearance of this certain villain, the Crimson Dynamo. Yeah, he was a cool villain. He framed Iron Man because at the beginning of the episode, it looked like Iron Man robbing it, but the whole time he was using an Infinity Fragment to disguise himself as Iron Man.
Oh, really?
And while this is happening, Reptile and Wolverine are golfing with MODOK and Abomination. And Abomination found this fragment, which turned him into MODOK.
Whoa. Dang.
But it was so cool to hear Steve Bloom's version of, like, his version of MODOK.
Man.
Yeah. And you remember this episode where they were trying to find a place to sleep because, the airship was, like, getting, fixed and everything?
Really?
Yeah. They tried to go to Reptile's home everywhere. They especially had, like, this car drive with Punisher.
Huh. Interesting.
Let's see. Another good episode. I'll be back. Hold on. Alright. Do you remember the episode with the first appearance of Dormammu?
Actually,
No.
Christian just said, like, with Doctor Strange, actually, that he mentioned Doctor Strange. That was the episode he was trying to.
But he didn't mention Dormammu, though.
Well, I didn't know that Dormammu was in that episode. It's been a long time since I've seen that episode. And I barely knew that dude at the time.
But I gotta say, Doctor Strange in this version was, like wacky in a way, but made it more funny, though.
Well, look, he was only acting that way because of, like, some Infinity Fragment.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Or it was it was either a fragment or something to make him act up. Like I just watched the episode, I just can't remember like quite much.
You remember the episode "If This Be My Thanos"?
Not yet, but that was the episode where we did learn that it was actually a Skrull clone, right?
Yeah, disguised as Thanos, which still confuses a lot of fans and saying, does that count as one of the voices of Thanos? We'll get into that in a little bit, but yeah. Let's see here. You ever seen the episode with Black Widow?
Yes.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite episodes as a kid. I'm finding out that she was Mystique in disguise.
And that sucks too, because the fact that she didn't appear really in person.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
Oh, okay.
But what's it shocked me a little bit. No, I wouldn't really say shocked, but it was weird at the same time. Was when she got hit by Thor's hammer, her transformation was going all random.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, but it was pretty cool. You ever watched the Tremble at the Might of MODOK? Basically, MODOK turned really big at this fragment, and him and Loki worked together. Basically, they're the new bosses of Doctor Doom.
Wow. Imagine MODOK bossing around Doctor Doom.
That did happen.
Yeah, but at the end of the episode, of course, he got his ass kicked by Doctor Doom.
Typical.
And I did enjoy that Rocky montage that Dr. Doom was going through. I was like, oh my god, I remember this. And I remember him saying, they call me Dr. Doom. And then boom, Rocky punched to the camera.
Yeah. Remember Stranger from the Savage Land?
Not yet.
So basically, they made this guy named Kazar. Yeah, basically he has his saber-tooth tiger who got lost, and basically Doom hires these new villains. Well, because MODOK and Abomination were doing something else. Yeah, one of them was Toad. Claw was one of them, and who else was it? I think it was Thunderbolt, maybe. But yeah, they were trying to get. Oh no, it was Sabretooth. Get it, Sabretooth and a saber-tooth tiger.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sabretooth was like to Doctor Doom, can I keep him please as a pet? Yeah. And Toad was like to Doctor Doom, hey, if I find a Toad, can I keep him as a pet too? I was like, yeah, totally. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, hence their names.
God dang.
Come on, that's like freaking Raphael in the Nickelodeon version keeping a pet turtle of his own spike.
Exactly.
Actually, yeah. And of course, there is the first appearance of Magneto, Quicksilver, and Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, that was my first episode.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's my introduction to the characters overall. And what I liked about the show, this was my introduction to some of the Marvel characters I see today. That's why I love the show.
Well, of course, I got introduced to Magneto and the X-Men movies first. Then through Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, I got introduced to Squad.
And of course, what was it? Before, I already knew some of the characters before watching Super Squad, because beforehand I was watching this movie called Ultimate Adventures.
Oh, you saw the. Oh, wait a second. But which one?
Yeah. The first one.
Oh, okay.
Well, the second one is good too. And that's what was my introduction to Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Nice.
Yeah.
And also my introduction to Black Panther.
Oh,
The second
cool.
one. Yeah.
My introduction to Black Panther was also on this show because he appeared in this episode, in one of the episodes actually.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, going back to the episode with Magneto, Quicksilver, and Scarlet Witch, one of my favorite scenes is when they were all trapped and Captain America was sleeping, just like how he was snoring.
Yeah, it's so
How was
freaking. He was like, hop up. Hop up, hop up, hop.
Okay, that's weird. What's that sound like? What's that sound familiar? The hubba bubba bubba bubba.
Well, you just said it, like hubba bubba, the gum.
Oh. Maybe he's doing about hubba bubble gum.
But yeah, towards this episode, it's really connecting to Falcon and Scarlet Witch's friendship in a little bit, which we'll explain in later episodes. But yeah, let's see here.
And fun fact, that's how I also got introduced to Falcon.
Yeah,
Same here.
Introduce me.
Let's see here. Of course, there was the appearance of the Red Skull called the Wrath of the Red Skull.
GSM.
I think that was also my introduction to Red Skull. And I think this was my introduction to Thor before I saw the Thor movie.
Ultimate Adventures was my introduction to Thor in animation. Yeah.
And I like in Ultimate Adventures, whenever he calls out Thunder, I play a chanting theme. That's really cool.
Yeah. Let's see here. And of course, there's the first appearance of Loki called Oh Brother.
Yes, I mean, and what I liked, what I was really was where Wolverine got turned into an actual Wolverine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I actually remember that one as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I like another memory of mine, fresh.
Of course.
And of course, I mentioned this, but I'll explain it again. Hulk's back. Basically, Hulk turns into Grey Hulk, and he's more intelligent-wise, but he's a downer.
Yeah, that was of course my introduction to Grey Hulk.
Yeah, and of course, the last few episodes of the first season, we get introduced to Galactus. And learning that him and Silver Surfer had a past together, and he's the reason why he became the Silver Surfer in the first place.
Which is makes sense because in Silver Surfer of Fantastic Four 2, Silver Surfer is connected with Galactus, which is the main antagonist.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Galactus really never appeared in person, just in smoke.
Wormhole form where they just freaked it up. That's freaking stupid. Come on.
Well, what I think is because of the CGI limitation back then, they probably couldn't get it right.
Oh, bull.
And then going to the season 2 episodes, now we get introduced to the new big boy over here, Thanos, who's collecting all the Infinity Stones.
Yep, that was my introduction to Thanos.
Same here. Having this new villain just collecting all the Infinity Stones. Here's what I don't like though, the confusion with the Infinity Stones, because prior to this, in some of the other shows or media, the Infinity Stones names are changed around in the colors. I don't like that.
That's weird. I prefer them to call it Infinity Stones. They are much more fitting.
The certain stones, the Time Stone and everything, with their certain colors, but they changed the names and the colors how they originally was. That's what I don't like.
That's ridiculously stupid.
Because I noticed that in the MCU's version, I was like, wait, why did they change the names around it with the colors? I'm like, because I'm so used to the Superhero Squad version. That's why.
Well, I'm used to the MCU version.
Yeah, legit. Oh.
And of course, another episode that I kind of liked was, support your local Skyfather. Basically, this is the episode where Thor was been challenged with Hercules.
Hercules.
Of course, this is where Thor gets his new suit and armor.
I was wondering about that because I first saw that through the Thanos arc.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you prefer, the sleeveless armor or the full sleeved armor?
Both.
I prefer season 1, but yeah, both is good, but I just prefer season 1 overall.
It's in between the sleeveless armor and the full sleeved armor.
And of course, what do you call it? There is this episode called, what is it? Whom Continuity Will Destroy. Basically, Thanos wanted to obtain the Mind Stone, but he puts the superhero squad against the new Squadron Supreme. And this is where we get introduced to the Grandmaster, who holds the Mind Stone.
I actually got introduced to Grandmaster through Ultimate Spider-Man, which was also my introduction to the Collector.
Same.
And of course, there's this episode with called Negotiation at the World's End. Basically, this is an episode that introduced Annihilus.
And who is that?
Search him up. He's a really cool villain. Because in this episode, as a result of the battle between Nebula and Thanos for like the space zone, Wolverine and Herbie are sent to like the negative zone, and that's where they find this villain Annihilus.
Yeah, he's recurring villain of the Fantastic Four if I'm correct.
Yeah, you're right.
He actually does look cool.
He does. And you'd be shocked who he was voiced by, but other than that, and then we get to the arc, of course, with Dennis collecting all the stones, but goddamn, he got tricked by the Silver Surfer, and then, of course, turning himself to the Dark Silver Surfer.
Yeah, I found that. I mean, I didn't know how he turned evil, but I saw him as dark form. It's like, god dang, he turned to a villain.
Yeah, all that time in space was not really helping him at all.
Oof.
But speaking of like the arc with the Dark Silver Surfer, do you remember when Iron Man, Falcon, and Scarlet Witch turned into babies?
I do not.
Yep, they turn into babies, and that's a little hassle. And the end of the episode, Doctor Doom turned into a baby. Let's see here. And of course, there's an episode called So Pretty When They Explode. Basically, this is the first episode of Nova Star, and this is also the first appearance of She-Hulk.
Oh, yeah, and I saw on YouTube where it showcased like when they were babies and stuff. That's like supposed to be how they were like that when they were babies. That's just. But my introduction to her was through the '90s Hulk and Edges and Smash.
Cool. And of course, with the Dark Silver Surfer, setting all of them into 6 different universes or dimensions. Now that was like a pretty hassle, though.
Wow.
Believe it when I see it.
Well, yeah, with like Thor going to this dimension where he met this janitor who turned out to be Beta Ray Bill.
Oh, Beta Ray Bill, the one that wears armor similar to Thor. I got just jumped through Planet Hulk, the movie.
Yeah, and of course with Falcon, he goes to the future where he learns that Scarlet Witch turned into a villain, full on.
Wow.
And of course, that's when we see a grown-up reptile and an old, greasy old man Magneto.
Oh yeah, the reptile one I remember, and of course an old man Magneto. Of course, he can't keep down his walking stick thing. I don't know what you call those things.
And then for Iron Man, he just goes to this place where he teams up with Man-Thing and Werewolf by, to defeat Dracula and his mummies. That was a cool one as well. And then for Wolverine, yeah, he went back to the dinosaur age. Well, technically not. Yeah, this is where he gets introduced to Devil Dinosaur, which we get introduced to in Hulk and Agent Smash as well. But yeah,
that was my introduction to Devil Dinosaur in the first place was in Smash.
Yeah, and there was that one episode where Mr. Fantastic and Miss Marvel were trying to bring them back. But yeah, with the Hulk going to his own dimension, it's basically with meeting Korg and everybody else. Yeah, he met Korg, Meek, everybody. Even the Red Guardian.
I got just to Korg and me through Planet Hulk.
Yeah, it's basically like that, Planet Hulk. And of course, there was this episode called Missing Impossible where it appears the Impossible Man.
Huh. I learned about the Impossible Man through Tom Kenny's voice actor thing in Just a Symbol.
And of course, there's the last 2 episodes of the season 2. The one that says when strikes the server. Basically, he divides himself into all color servers of of each Infinity Stone. I like that battle. It was pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
And then in the last episode, learning that the mayor himself was watching it the whole time in his TV, and yeah, that was a great finale. Especially with the last superhero up, and especially this time being called by Scarlet Witch, which she wanted to do for a really long time. And
yeah, it's almost like hero time, but it's like hero up and stuff. And we get a pause at the thing, and that's where Mayor said, "Enough said, true believers."
Superhero Squad, and that was the end of a good arc.
Yeah.
Really.
And in the background, it sounds like they're playing fireworks because tomorrow is the 1st of July.
And yeah, this show really means a lot of good because getting introduced to like a lot of new characters. I know everybody else got introduced to some characters in like Avengers Assemble, Ultimate Spider-Man, other media, but this was like the GOAT at the time.
Yeah, and introduced me like to a plethora of Marvel characters that I didn't know about.
And we call it. Well, not just only the show. You guys want to talk about the games as well?
Well, of course. This is a chance to go all out. I mean, but yeah, Boo can say that for the gifts section. Like, we never done it before, but this will be our first time, I guess.
Well, here's the thing, though. I didn't really play much of the game version of Superhero Squad on the Wii, but...
That's alright. Alright, so now to the gift section. Okay, so which one do you want to talk about? Oh, of course, we can talk about the first official one, the Marvel Superhero Squad game. Yeah, thoughts about it?
Yes, it was very exciting. Like I like how it starts out with you picking whatever character you want and going out with a buddy and beginning the first part of the story. Then you start to play the other members and just go throughout the game as much as you can. It took me a while, but I finally did in like 2018. It was really fascinating.
Yeah, and what was so cool about this game? It actually featured Spider-Man.
Exactly.
Oh boy, and like the design of it, the graphics. Like, despite the graphics, I do still enjoy it. It was really cool. But the really awesome game of Superhero Squad, other than this, was Superhero Squad Online. That was like the GOAT.
Yes.
Yeah, it included Deadpool.
Yes.
Yeah, it included everybody. X-Men, Spider-Man characters, every character. They went all out for this.
Yeah, it became even more GOAT than the show. Like, no offense, but I'm just saying facts.
Well, yeah, because of course with Sony's rights about, especially with Fox rights, about X-Men and the Spider-Man characters. But thank God they had the rights to do it in this game, though. Good times. Oh, and yeah, various characters and all that, especially the music throughout all this, like the themes of the villains. It was pretty cool as well.
Let's use this one online now. Oh yes, way back. Of course, this still being going on. Me just searching out random videos on YouTube. I always enjoyed watching the characters' introductions, either just saying their names or just presenting themselves, both heroes and villains alike. And of course, the trailers of them. Wow, we'll get to them.
And if they had another season, even though the rights of Sony had, like, of course, Spider-Man villains and stuff, they should have allowed them to use Spider-Man villains and Spider-Man himself to show. It would have been an interesting character take.
Yeah, but it was depending on Sony, because Sony was being a bitch at the time. But what was so cool about Superhero Squad Online is this was the first appearance ever for Miles Morales, fun fact.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was.
Huh. Well, my introduction to Miles was Ultimate Spider-Man.
Pretty cool. But yeah, finding out this was his actual appearance was like, wow. Like, but of course, yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man did try, like, you know, bring out like more character of him.
Yeah, that is pretty dang wowzer. And I'm glad that Miles Morales came a big, really good Spider-Man character, even in his own movie.
Mm-hmm. But for both of these games, I give them Infinity. It was like this badass.
Infinity.
Yeah, in a way, Marvel Superhero Squad Online is basically Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Like, everyone is here.
You could say.
Well played.
Well played.
Characters, all right. But before we go all out, let's just give a special mention to, of course, the man who created it all, Stan Lee. And I say that because in the first episode, he gives this big speech, and this is important. Like, this is
Yeah.
is godly.
Yeah.
He voices the mayor, yes. And you know what's so cool about the first episode is that that was the only time in the first time you saw Tony's face.
Yeah, I was like, that's crazy. And I know I'm not talking about him yet. I just want to point out that what's unique about Iron Man, because he's the only one that, one, shows his eyes because they're normally glowing, and two, that his mouth is moving because it's normally in the default mouth hole position.
Well, so did Doctor Doom too there. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yes. Thank you for pointing that out. Even though we're not talking about Doctor Doom either, but
well, you brought it up.
But yeah, speaking of the cast, let's bring out one of the best goats, Tom Kenny. You all know from SpongeBob, but yeah, he got the opportunity to play three of the main characters. It's Iron Man, Captain America, and MODOK.
Yeah. What is cool about this Iron Man that he's the leader of the group?
Well, yeah. But yeah, it was so cool that he got to play both, like, the main Avengers, especially his MODOK voice. I was really shocked about that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Especially the voice he gives him. It's very similar to what he gives to Waspinator.
Yeah. But yeah, people just said, and like, when I saw the MODOK voice comparison, people compared to Stitch, which I agree to.
Well, yeah. I would love to see Stitch voice actor voice MODOK.
That would be pretty cool. But yeah,
and this was my introduction to MODOK after all.
Same
here. Yeah, but other characters than them were the Juggernauts and Colossus.
I got introduced to Colossus in X-Men 3.
Yeah. But I gotta say, just like his great talent throughout the show, he did really pull it off, as he always does.
And yes, you did say like wise words as usual, but don't forget also in the game, in like the other games, like he was also Deadpool, Rocket Raccoon, Cable, Morbius.
Yes. Wait, hold on. Was there more, or is that it? Wait, for him in the game? Let me check. Since we're going all up from this one. Double checking. Where's Tom Kenny? Wait, did it not show? Oh no, it shows. Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna go back here, and yeah, you basically said Oh yeah, in this version, he plays Impossible Man.
Yeah.
just like an Avengers Assemble, and he also plays Agent Coulson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I got used to in Thor.
Yep. But pretty cool that he got to play Deadpool. Like, I did like his performance as Deadpool in Rocket Raccoon.
They should play Deadpool and Rocket more often, not just because of this.
Especially Cable. Cable's a surprising from Tom.
Yeah, but we'll see in future projects if they would have him voice those characters again.
For Tom, as always, Infinity. He did great.
Yes, sir.
Infinity.
I mean, we've been saying that like all this time. It took you this long to notice.
I know. I just love to bring that joke up. All right, next up is Thor, voiced by David Bowie. What do you think about this version of Thor?
It's my favorite Thor in animation, top one.
Even though Travis is the GOAT for me, Dave, like he puts his like a more humorous version, I guess. Almost on.
The way he voices him reminds me of Aquaman from Batman Brave and the Bold.
But I gotta say, David was like one of the best goats in the show, like showing all this talent, especially voices the Thing, Doc Samson. What was it? Wait, what's the Watcher's name again?
Wasn't it Utah or something like that? Like
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you got it. And he also voiced a Man Thing. But in the Superhero Squad online game, I believe one of them that he voices. If I go back here, but as soon as I pulled it up, he was also in Danny Phantom where he voices Vortex.
Oh.
Yeah. Let's see here. Okay, and Superhero Squad Online, he got to play Sabretooth, Mysterio, and Dracula.
Yes.
Yeah, but I gotta say, his true talent towards Thor, especially, I liked it. It was like the best.
Well, I'll take your word on it.
Yeah. For David, I give him Infinity. It was like perfect.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, he was pretty dope.
Alright, next up, we got Mr. Stephen J. Bloom. Yes, this is my introduction to his Wolverine overall.
Wait, his real name is Jay?
Dude, it's like his middle name.
Yeah.
I know. I didn't know that was his real name.
I just wanted to go on, but yeah, this was my introduction to his Wolverine overall, and it was like the best choice ever, to be honest.
Yeah, this was my introduction to Wolverine as well, and then other projects I got introduced to him as Wolverine, and he's the #1 best Wolverine, top notch.
Yeah, what was funny in my opinion with this version of Wolverine is like, dude, we know that you have been taking up the mantle ever since 2004, but since this is kids, why don't you just tone the bad archery down just a much? It's just make it just a little bit better.
But it was still good though.
Well, of course, my introduction besides this of Wolverine was the X-Men movies played by Hugh Jackman.
Yep. And of course, other than playing Wolverine, of course, he's known for playing Abomination, Pyro, Fan Fang Foom, I believe, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also playing that Skrull that pretended to be Thanos. Now, do you technically count that as Thanos or no? Because that's what they said in the voice comparison. I don't think it's
Freak, no.
It doesn't count.
Doesn't count, but they still put it. I don't know why they would do that.
Because you're stupid.
Because reasons. Because if he played a Thanos, he played a Thanos. But no, it's actually some random person. But anyway, before I got to this version of Abomination, I got to this Abomination in 90s Hulk, which that was a really cool Abomination. I introduced you Pyro and X-Men Evolution. Oh, no, wait. It was X-Men Last Stand, then Evolution.
I was going to say, my other introduction to Abomination was, of course, the live-action Incredible Hulk movie.
Yeah,
oh, right.
This is what confused me too, because while growing up, first appearance of Abomination, yes, like you, the live-action Hulk, but here I'm like, wait, what's up with the design? So this is supposed to be the original source material? Because again, this happened with me when I first watched X-Men Origins Wolverine, where I accidentally got introduced to Deadpool. I'm like, wait, he doesn't look like that. I was like, wow, I've been living a lie.
Yeah.
Wow, god dang.
But other characters, and we call it Superhero Squad Online, he also played Iron Patriot, he also played Grey Hulk, Taskmaster, and Anti-Venom.
And Super Skrull and Electro and Taskmaster.
Yes.
I got used to Anti-Venom and Ultimate Spider-Man.
Cool. But yeah, Mr. Stephen Bloom, he never disappoints all of us. He always gets an Infinity.
Pretty.
Yep, and my introduction to him was firstly Ben 10 overall, and I thank that show for introducing me to that warrior.
Yeah, for me it was Ben 10 and regular show.
Of course. Alright, now to Travis Willingham, voicing Hook.
Now, this was my true introduction to Travis Willingham before I knew he was Knuckles. Yeah, and this version of Hulk, he's like dumb, but in a fun way. Because in other times he could talk like in full sentences, but in this one, yeah, I gotta say his version of Hulk, it doesn't really bother me. I do like it.
Yeah.
No one could go himself, but casual.
You got that point, but go ahead first.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like what people's being like mixed about the show, about the characters being kind of a little bit out in character. Hulk, for example, being like happy-go-lucky. While that may be great, but it was like a little bit off-putting. Now it's just some happy guy, but with serious anger issues. Okay, yeah, that's subtle, but I'm not hating. But Travis, yes, he does amazing.
But a voice that I was really surprised about was Human Torch from him.
Yes.
Yeah, because when I was rewatching the episodes back in the day, I thought that was Seth Green, but finding out that was Travis, it really shocked me as a kid.
I think Seth Green should have voiced him in the show. I mean, no disrespect to Willingham, but I think Seth Green would have been. Wait, did you say Seth Green or S?
Seth Green.
Seth Green. But yeah, I think Seth Green would have been much more fit. But when you describe that, man, I wonder how he pulled that off.
But yeah, in Superhero Squad Online, he also played Venom, Sabretooth, Kingpin, Juggernaut, and Havoc.
Okay, I'm gonna listen to the clip. Whoa! It does sound like Seth Green. Holy cow!
Exactly.
He's nuts.
Yeah,
that is shocking right there.
Well, I guess in this show,
Travis would have that much of a range to do that kind of voice.
I mean, do you want to count Sydney from Benson Reboot? Because all he did is make the murmuring noises for him.
There you go.
Yeah, but for Travis, for his version of Hulk, despite everybody's opinions, I give it a 50. Perfect.
Me too. I actually don't mind his version of Hulk by Travis Willingham. It's very similar to Fred's a little bit.
Infinity, because of course he was always willing to bring some hamminess to whatever he's in.
I see what you did there, dude.
Yeah.
You're basically Lou and Lyle right now.
Yeah.
No, that's actually Blitz, since he's the jokester of the group.
Well, yeah, but since you did it like that, the way you did it is basically how Luann should do it.
Well, yeah, well, with her, it's actually not really that much funny. I try to just be just clever with it, but with her, it's just kind of bad puns.
Yeah.
All right.
Next up, we got my boy Charlie Adler. Yes, Charlie Adler was like the GOAT of this show. My first introduction, of course, Cow and Chicken, but this was like my best introduction to him.
My obvious introduction was Tristar's Justice 7 as Starscream. And my introduction to Dr. Doom was, of course, the Fantastic Four movie. But this is my most favorite Dr. Doom because, one, he's the main antagonist, and he is funny as heck. I just love the voice he's given.
Exactly. I know people like Maurice LaMarche's version, but this was my favorite one.
Especially the fact that he yells at MODOK a lot. Especially that one episode where MODOK was talking to Abomination, is talking about Dr. Doom behind his back, but turns out Dr. Doom was behind MODOK, was bad-mouthed about him, and MODOK's like, oh, he's right behind me, isn't he?
Yeah. Charlie, he's just like the GOAT of the show, especially him being the voice director of the Superhero Squad first game.
Yes,
wow.
Yeah, he's just that awesome. And I just gotta say, looking back on this show, yeah, his version of Dr. Doom kind of like reminds me of 80s Gargamel. Like, I like from my side.
That's funny.
Yeah, when you say that, you're right, because his voice is kind of similar to 80s Gargamel.
But it's funny first because Nat Smurf, yeah, good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, other characters other than Dr. Doom, of course, he was one of the voices of Super Skrull. He's also the voice of course, yeah, Dr. Doom's mother, Coco. Sabretooth. Yeah, this is my favorite version of Sabretooth. No offense to Leaf Strider, but this was like the funniest one.
Well, I introduction to Saber was this in X-Men Origins, then the first X-Men movie. Which, okay, They really do that good with the first version of X-Men movie Sabretooth because he didn't really do that much, but I prefer Leif Schreiber's version. He's a lot more menacing.
That's kind of funny. Like, another character you voiced in the show was Captain Britain.
Yeah, that was balls off the walls nuts.
Yeah, and in the Superhero Squad online game, you played Red Skull, Annihilus, Dr. Octopus, Sasquatch. Yes, Mr. Fantastic, Iron Patriot, and Agent Venom. Yeah, it was really cool. Even though he didn't play Sabretooth in that game, I don't mind, It's still a great talent from Charlie. I always give him infinity. He's just a great director and actor overall.
Yeah, you already know that whenever he's in, you already know he's just going to bring 100% hamminess.
Exactly. especially towards Red Guy. All right, next one. Let's see, Alemi Ballard. I believe that's how you say it. Yeah,
Yes. Who voices Falcon?
Yeah, this is my favorite Falcon. Yeah, he was pretty cool. I do like Anthony Mackie's. I also like Buffer Robertson's, but this one was like my top favorites.
Yeah. This and I mentioned several of my favorites, and this was my introduction to Falcon before I got introduced to him again in A Simple.
But yeah, him trying to be reasonable at times, trying to have his funny moments, especially his great friendship with Scarlet Witch. I do like that.
Yeah, I love how he's like the brains of the group.
Exactly. And it was so cool is his actor also played Thunderbolt in this show.
Yes.
Yeah, but in the Superhero Squad game, he played Black Panther and Miles Morales.
Nothing short of spectacular.
Yeah. What I'm gonna say, even though he hasn't done that much recently, in the last few years, I still praise him for like Superhero Squad. He just made the show awesome as well.
Yeah, he did really good.
Yeah, for him, I give him infinity. Wow.
Same here.
Yes.
Next up, we got Micah Kelly, aka Silver Surfer. This was my introduction to him overall.
It was Rise of Silver Surfer, then this.
Rise of Silver.
Even though
What?
Like my introduction to Micah Kelly and Silver Surfer. Like, how did you get introduced to Micah Kelly?
Here.
Oh, okay, because I thought everyone would say like
2007.
True, yeah. But yeah, what I liked about his version, it's not like all white and stuff. Although he was white, it's just like the Surfer Dude voice.
Yeah. Even though in Rise of Silver Surfer it's supposed to be more serious and monotone, but I prefer this one because he has a lot more character.
Yeah. And for a short second, Micah Kelly actually voiced Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got just Iron Fist and Ultimate Spider-Man voiced by Greg Sykes.
Mm-hmm. And he was also one of the voices of Spider-Man in the Superhero Squad online game. I gotta say, his Spider-Man voice was like really good. I wish he could have played him more often.
Yeah, he should.
Yeah, but Micah Kelly's arc for like the Silver Surfer, make him cool, but season 2 make him more of a villain. Yeah, that was the most like shocking plot twist ever.
Yeah, but Silver Surfer is a great character, and Kelly did excellent work on voicing SS.
Most excellent.
Yeah, for him, I give him infinity. He just nails the role.
Yeah, and I can't wait for another time you can voice him, unless they do another Hemi version of him. But who knows? Alright, next up, Scarlet Witch, voiced by Power Strong.
What was that for?
I don't know.
Being high,
yeah.
that's what it is.
This was my introduction to Scarlet Witch overall, and I gotta say, Tara did really great.
Yeah, this was also my introduction before I got used to her again in Age of Ultron and X-Men Evolution.
And also voicing Herbie, Invisible Woman, and the Princess Skrull. But yeah, I do like, especially how she voiced Herbie. It was pretty cool.
Oh, great to hear so.
Yeah, and if I go back here, like, I believe, what was some of the roles she played in the online game?
Yeah, it was Black Cats, American Dream, Firestar, Jean Grey, let's see. Oh yeah, Kitty Pryde,
Squirrel Girl?
yeah, Squirrel Girl, Wasp, Spider Girl, and Rogue.
Which was really awesome, like, having all that talent. Well, of course, Sarah Strong being the queen herself, but yeah. But Scarlet Witch and Herbie were just my favorites from her overall from the show.
I got used to Squirrel Girl and Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yes. And what's so funny is that Squirrel Girl was voiced by Missy Lee, who also voiced Aunt May from Ultimate Spider-Man. Fun fact.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That was a bit weird, don't you think?
No, not really. Considering that the actor that played Aunt May was young at the time and still pulling off, talent.
Oh, alright. But, what are your thoughts about this version of S-Witch?
I like it. I mean, yeah, it's a tie with Elizabeth Olsen, but this was my overall favorite.
Yeah, even though I like Elizabeth Olsen, she's great, but after hearing what they've done to her, dirty and multiple of madness, kind of evil, and what?
Yep. But for her, Infinity as well.
Cool. And now for Thanos, voiced by Pete himself, Jim Cummings.
Well, even though we didn't cross that.
Yeah, slow down. I mean, come on.
Yeah, we didn't even cross that one, but sure. Yes, Jim Cummings did voice Thanos. Also, I'll be back. He's one of my favorite Thanos, along with Avengers Assemble, of course, Josh Brolin. But yeah, Jim Cummings was like the GOAT for Thanos at the time.
And there's one my is to Jim Cummings besides P, of course, and Pooh. And the fact is, I was trying to figure out why does he sound so familiar? It's like, oh, it's P, because like you hear P and his voice, like wow, and that made me love Jim Cummings because of how similarity he did with that voice.
And what's so funny in the second theme song when they're ending it, you see like the sign hitting his face.
And now he's like,
first, any opinions about his Thanos?
Well, you basically did say everything. I guess he was just the best part of season 2, or the show overall, I guess.
Yeah, and other than playing Thanos, of course, he was also one of the voices of the Super Skrull. He also voiced another version of Human Torch. Of course, this one called Jim. Hence the name, Jim Cummings.
wow.
Because there is an episode where Scarlet Witch actually went back in the past and met Captain America and his OG team.
Yeah, that was kind of a little bit weird. But when I found out it was actually some kind of robot duplicate or something, if I'm right, or something.
Yeah, it's an android.
Oh.
Yeah.
Android.
But for Jim Cummings, 10 out of 10, you know, I gotta say, I think he was playing like Robotnik and Negaduck to like, you know, Thanos at the time, which I liked.
Exactly.
And Favorite.
Next up, we got Roger Rose, who played Doctor Strange. Yeah.
Anything you know about Roger Rose?
He voices Superman and Brave and the Bold.
Yeah. For me, I know him best from when he played that leopard seal from Happy Feet.
Yeah. But yeah, I gotta say, even though we did explain Doctor Strange a little bit, but I gotta say, he had to be the funniest one, other than Benedict Cumberbatch, of course, but this was like my favorite one. Yeah. But of course, other than playing, we call Doctor Strange, he also played Bulldozer and, one of the presidents at the time, because it was like, you know, when the Silver Surfer was like turning, you know, evil. He played this character named Goodman as like one of like the council, but yeah. I give him a 10 out of 10 for his performance.
It's been a while since I heard this version of Doctor Strange, so I'll give him an 8.
Next up, we got the powerhouse herself, Miss Marvel, voiced by Grey DeLisle.
Yeah. Into Miss Marvel / Captain Marvel.
Exactly. Yeah, this version was like funny, badass, and like sarcastic at times, but goddamn, Grey DeLisle did put a lot to her.
Yeah, you should never mess with her.
Looking back, I'm like, okay, like, why does she sound like a teenage girl? But then she gave me some Kitty Catwell vibe, so I'm like, okay, that's passable.
And you can also say Daphne Blake.
Yeah. I'm like, if she had like a stick up her.
Yeah. But other than playing, we call Miss Marvel, she also played Enchantress and Thor and Loki's mother.
Huh, really? I seen the episode, I've got to bring that out, where Ant-Man appeared and they were shrunk.
Yes.
Yeah, that's actually my true introduction to Ant-Man for Ultimate Avengers. I just got it mixed up. But yeah, for this version of Miss Marvel, her powers are very unique.
And in the Superhero Squad online game, she played Emma Frost, Invisible Woman, and Storm.
And also Elektra and She-Hulk's Spider-Woman, Storm.
Tigra.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Miss Marvel was like her only good role, along with Enchantress. But yeah, I give her like Infinity. She put a lot to it.
She did.
Yeah.
She was very marvelous, eh?
Yeah, totally. Yep. Next up, we got Todd by Sully. I think that's how you say it. Yeah. Who's my favorite? Yeah, my favorite Loki. Other than like Troy Baker or like Tom Hiddleston, he was like the funniest Loki ever.
I don't remember if I seen him before as a kid, but my true introduction to Loki was, of course, the Thor movie, played by none other than Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah. But what's so shocking, other than playing Loki, he played the Mole Man.
Yes, and I gotta say, like, of course, where we did say getting introduced to characters that we never, like, when we first got introduced to, it was shocking for me to learn that Mole Man was actually the first ever foe the Fantastic Four ever faced up against, and...
Yeah. And I like how he kind of put his own version of Stitch, like how Tom Kenny did for, like, MODOK. It was really funny.
And what's annoying about Mole Man is that he barks all the time.
Yeah,
Look
that's
who's talking.
Specialty. But yeah, for Ted, what do you call it? Other than this, he was also in Transformers Robots in Disguise, Team 2 2012, Stitch, where he got the pleasure of playing Agent Pleakley, and many more. Like
2010, he voiced Cuddlesworth.
Yeah, from Pound Puppies. But yeah, for his version, I give him a 10 out of 10. It was perfect.
Use them.
Yeah, it was perfect. Perfect.
Next,
everything. Last minute details.
Next up, we got Marisa Marsh as Magneto.
Yep. So,
Yeah, other than Ian McKellen's, his Magneto was like awesome, especially seeing his interaction with Doctor Doom at the times. Yeah, and even in the episode where Enchantress, had this love spell for we call it Odin, and yeah, basically being the new wife of Odin, and of course that's where like it was kind of like a father's kind of conversation, because this is where the only time you see Magneto and Odin talk to each other.
Wow.
Whoa.
Dang.
I mean, it's no wonder the show.
Yep. But with Magneto, I did like his version, yes. Especially, taking over. And when he turned old from the future episode, I was like, wow.
Yeah, especially with that walker, he could, electric ground keep, flowing from his hands.
Mm-hmm. And, yeah. And also, coming with this is Quicksilver, voiced by Scott Menville.
Yeah, that was he did really put his cockiness into this version.
Yep. And let's see, other ones were Cree Summer as Storm. I do like this version.
Same here.
Yep.
Yeah, besides the X-Men movie, this is how I got introduced to Storm.
And of course, Reptile, everybody's introduction by Antonio Del Rio. Yes, he's a really good actor. I can't believe he was just a kid when he was recording his lines.
And it makes sense, too, because he does sound like that he's a kid.
And he's still able to do that kind of voice still. Like, it shocks me.
Yeah, especially for Pitt.
Yeah, for Pitt and Dark Pitt. Also Blue Beetle from Injustice 2. Yeah, he's just, awesome.
And he's also Man-at-Arms in Human Masters of the Universe, which... In that version, he's a teenager, but I prefer the adult version of Man-at-Arms.
But yeah, we could keep the list go on, but yeah, I'm just gonna mention everybody else, like Carl Saul as Rocky, George Takei as Galactus, what was
Jane Lynch?
Jane Lynch, yes, as Nebula, Kevin Michelson as Nick Fury, Odin being played by Jess Harnell, Ty Burrell playing Captain Marvel. That was my introduction to him.
Wayne Knight to Ignite.
Wow.
Egg.
The Egg Knight? I mean, what is he? We don't know Batman is supposed to be the Dark Knight, but what I'm like, what's is Egg Knight just his gay alter ego? We're serving up breakfast?
And we got Fred Stroller as Molecule Man. We got Michael Thorne as Ronan the Accuser. Remember him?
I got this true in MCU, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep. Okay.
AJ Buckley, who played Toad, and what was it? Melter, and who else was it? Claw. But I was really surprised that the actor that played Toad in this, the one who played Pigeon Pete.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Believe it.
And Laura Bailey, this was my introduction to Laura Bailey, where she played Firestar. Yeah, there's also, let's see here. Yeah, Agent Pastar, who's known for playing Armin, but in this version he played Hawkeye. Let's see, there's Josh Keaton, of course. Let's see, Jim Ward, Hilton Walsh. Let's see here, other ones. LeVar. I was just about to say LeVar Burton, and what would you say?
Yeah, interesting enough, Sean Ashmore, who portrayed playing Iceman from the live-action X-Men movies.
Yes. Of course, there was also the late Adam West, John L. Hurley, Susan Eisenberg, D. Bradley Baker, Jim Parsons. This was my introduction to Jim Parsons, where he plays Nightmare.
Which I didn't know he was in Superhero Squad. My introduction was obviously Big Bang Theory.
There was also Julie Morrison, who played Mimi, the screaming girl.
Oh yeah, and turns out that she was actually part of the Superhero Squad as Songbird.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what is up with her? When I was like, I don't even remember you. Like, who are you? You look like an evil Black Canary.
Kind of gives me an off-brand version of Harley Quinn a little bit.
That too.
There was Reeve Stevenson, rest in peace to him, who played Punisher for live action and got to play him in animation. There was also Pat Fraley, Robert Englund, Rob Paulson, Dave Willenberg, S. Scott Bullock. Who else was there? Just double checking. And that was about it. It was a stacked cast.
And it was just a lot of celebrities and voice actors.
Yep. But overall, this amazing cast back in the day was like perfect for this great show.
No doubt about it.
Yep. Always give it affinity. Cheers.
Yeah.
Okay. I gotta say, I have to thank the show a lot. Yes, because it was one of my favorite shows when I used to air on Hub Network. It got me to get introduced to like a lot more Marvel characters other than live action and other media. This was the GOAT. I know it was like not serious at the time, but it was the comedy. It was like awesome. But for this show in particular, I gotta say, Infinity, you had nothing to say.
Of course. And as the show suggested, with that Infinity Sword, I will rule the universe. It's just the whole thing is infinity.
Mm-hmm. You first?
We'll just keep it short. It was just nothing short of marvelous. Enough said.
Enough said about that. True believer. Excelsior. Yeah.
Well, also, speaking of that, has Mayor even said that line, Excelsior, in the show?
A few times, yeah.
Okay, I was making sure.
Yeah. And we're off.